Internet drama is a lot like a Pokemon. It can always evolve, and that's exactly what we've seen today. A very spicy piece of drama recently just entered into its metamorphosis stage, and now it's about to pop out of the larva and become a beautiful butterfly. And unfortunately, this butterfly is coming with bad news. It seems like we may have all been lied to, fed a fib, played for a fool, schmeckeldorfed. It's in regards to the Bayonetta 3 situation. I recently made a video covering all of the drama with Bayonetta 3, and within 24 hours of posting this video, the entire situation got flipped on its ass with a stunning plot twist the likes of which George R.R. Martin could only dream of writing, and it's left me out in the rain, cold, scared, and wondering where everything went wrong. For those that aren't caught up to speed with this latest drama lore, I'll give you the quick breakdown. Hellena Taylor is the voice actress behind Bayonetta, an iconic character, and she made a series of posts on Twitter that all went viral, the first of which being a video that has nearly 10 million views, stating that the reason she's not voicing Bayonetta in the new game coming up is because they were only offering her $4,000 for the whole game. Obviously, $4,000 for a role this size in a AAA game of this caliber is pretty low. You could probably make $4,000 quicker and easier just pretending to be a girl in RuneScape, so she called it an insulting offer, and everyone on the internet agreed, because obviously this is a pretty shitty deal. So she turned down the role and walked away and said that it's because they were only offering her that $4,000 for the whole game. She then urged fans to boycott Bayonetta 3 and instead spend that money on charities instead. Now, Nintendo does what Nintendo does best. They ignored this whole situation. I think they're still trying to figure out how email works, so they probably never even saw this to begin with. But Platinum Games lead Hideki Kamiya did at least become aware of this situation by making that post saying, you know, it's sad about the untruth out there and beware of my rules. The tweet reads like a monologue from a villain after they've been caught in Scooby-Doo, but the beware of my rules that he caps locked in there refers to his rule of if you speak English, you get blocked. For many years now, Kamiya has been well known to block anyone that speaks English at him. His fucking block list is longer than the Yellow Page phone book. There are more people on his block list than there are registered in the goddamn US criminal database. It's wild how many people he's blocked. So that's what he's talking about here. And for the last couple days, this is where the story had stopped. This is where the brakes were really pumped into full effect until last night. A Bloomberg article came out that really absolutely changed the entire situation here. Bloomberg, more like Boomberg, because this shit was a bomb. The report comes from two people who were familiar with the negotiations, and the documentation was reviewed by Bloomberg and confirmed to be genuine. So according to them, Platinum Games really wanted to get Hellena Taylor back in voicing Bayonetta. According to the documents, they didn't offer her $4,000 for the entire game. They offered her up to $4,000 per session for 5 sessions of 4 hours each. So about $1,000 per hour, which is very different than the claims Hellena Taylor was leading us to believe. So in response to the initial offer here of the $4,000 per session, Taylor allegedly asked for a 6-figure sum as well as residuals on the game, which Platinum declined, and then after those negotiations fell through, she walked away and they took auditions for a new voice actress for Bayonetta. According to professional voice actors, that $4,000 per session rate that Hellena Taylor was being offered is above the norm. Now, I do think it's important to mention that there's still plenty of room here for a debate on whether or not voice acting talent is paid reasonably. As I understand it, it's actually been a long-running thing for a while that voice actors get fucked in the face when it comes to what they're paid for their work, at least in comparison to other mediums, and I didn't realize how big this problem was. Even just recently, the Jujutsu Kaisen 0 dub actors came out and revealed that they were only getting paid $150 each for their roles. And these were huge roles. Like, that is outrageous. And I've seen plenty of actual fucking stupid brain takes from Twitter assholes who love to take their pants off and wiggle their little wiener around saying, voice acting's so easy, they shouldn't even be paid at all. They're paid in exposure more than anything. They should be grateful to even be in the game to begin with. It's an honor. I don't know why they're even asking for pay. $1,000 is too much for how easy the job is. And I think it's pretty clear how dumb that shit is. Voice acting is a legitimate talent that takes years to perfect, and it's a very important part of media, especially games. If you have shitty voice acting, the character is going to become a laughable joke and the narrative is going to fall flat on its face. We've seen it a million times before and we'll see it a million more into the future. Voice acting is integral to these stories, and if you don't think so, then please just play the games on mute from now on. Put your money where your mouth is. I'd like to see how much you really connect with a game when it's just completely fucking muted throughout all of its cutscenes and shit. It is a big component, so I'm really tired of that dumb take. But Helena Taylor here, if all of this is true, which it seems like it is the worst person to try and spark this kind of debate because she's just completely framed this wrongly by lying and manipulating everyone. She also did respond with an email saying that it's all an absolute lie and said Platinum was trying to save their ass and the game. She said she stood by everything she said in the video. I would like to put this whole bloody franchise behind me, quite frankly. Get on with my life in theater, she wrote. So this is an absolute dog shit response from Helena Taylor here. I don't even know where to begin. I guess we'll start with the obvious one. If this is all a lie, it should be extremely easy for her to prove that they're lying because she's already broken the NDA. You know, she's already wiped her whole ass with the NDA. You might as well just show the contract they offered you, the negotiation documents they offered you that would confirm your side of $4,000 for the whole game. You should be able to easily produce that, considering you've already broken the NDA, so there's no reason not to prove that you're being truthful here. This should be an easy slam dunk if this is all a lie. But then she goes on to say that she wants to put this entire bloody franchise behind her and move on. You started this. You were the instigator. What do you mean? It's not like this just came out of nowhere and threw you into this whirlwind of chaos. You were the one that came here and made this whole hoopla. So I really don't understand why she's trying to portray herself as the victim here now. Like, in the first place, she was viewed as a victim of a very shitty negotiation on behalf of Platinum Games and Nintendo. But now, after this information comes forward, her response should be, this is a lie and here's my proof, as opposed to, it's a lie and I just want to move on. I just want to wash my hands of this. Now they're being childish. Now they're playing dirty in the pig pen and I just won't have any of that. I'm moving on. Like, that's not how you do this. You've ruined your own career now. If all of this from their side is the accurate one, your entire career as a voice actress is kaput. You've completely lied about what happened here and fabricated the story and even called on a boycott of the property, trying to directly hurt them financially off of a completely manufactured story. Again, this isn't directly from Platinum Games nor Nintendo, so I still think it should be taken with a grain of salt. But the fact that this came from two people in the negotiations with Helena Taylor, as well as confirmed by Bloomberg, as well as corroborated by a few other sources inside the industry, it's very strong evidence here against Helena Taylor's claims. I'd like to believe that Helena Taylor didn't lie about this whole thing and is going to come out of nowhere with this ace card like Yugi Moto pulling out the Dark Magician at the last second, but I'm very skeptical now because of this email that was released in the report as well. But we'll have to wait and see. If she lied about all of this, I think that is beyond scummy. What a fucked up, messy situation. I really don't even understand what the end goal would have been for her in this case. All it's done is ruin her career as a voice actress, as well as maybe even just in theater to begin with, because if anyone looks up Helena Taylor now, they're going to find this massive scandal, if it's proven that she lied about all of it. So this was legitimately just a career ender. She just checkmated her whole acting livelihood. And I just don't even understand why. If, of course, it all is confirmed. So anyway, I just wanted to talk about it because this was kind of a wild development, and that's about it. So yeah. 2 weeks ago, a cheating scandal caught the attention of the entire world. And since then, it's been a non-stop roller coaster of action, drama, suspense, mystery, blood, violence, and it's just been unreal to watch it all unfold over the last few weeks. It's becoming one of my favorite shows, up there with like Breaking Bad. There has been more plot development and character arcs and shit in this drama than in most major television programs. I'm talking, of course, about the Hans Niemann vs. Magnus Carlsen cheating scandal. I covered this when it first started 2 weeks ago, but I'll give you the quick, dirty, and sloppy of it. So Magnus Carlsen is the best chess player in the world, and in a recent tournament, he went up against Hans Niemann, who was a lower-ranked player. It was expected to be a complete fucking steamroll, but Hans Niemann was able to pull off the upset and beat Magnus Carlsen, and in a subsequent interview didn't do a great job of explaining his prep and how he was able to do it. So this led to a lot of people getting suspicious, as well as Magnus Carlsen himself withdrawing from that tournament and then making hard accusations of cheating against Niemann later on. And I followed it ever since. I've only made 2 videos discussing it, but I've been following it actively on stream. I've become this rabid animal hungry for more chess drama developments. I'm constantly refreshing the chess subreddit to see if there's any new bombshells dropping, and when there's not, I'm scratching at my neck, and I feel off. You know, it's kind of like Bane, how he has to be like sucking on that venom to stay big and strong, or even to survive. That's me with this chess cheating drama. It's just so wacky and wild. The main thing that put this into the public eye is the anal bead controversy. I'll give you the brief rundown here, the cliff notes. People speculated that Hans Niemann may have cheated against Magnus Carlsen by having vibrating anal beads in his asshole that would vibrate, telling him the best moves to play against him. That's what the media latched onto, and that's what got people drawn in. Now, that's of course not entirely accurate. There's no proof of any kind of high-tech butt plug or any kind of rectal devices that Hans Niemann may have employed during this match. There's no evidence there, and we don't have a time machine to go back and have Hans goatsy himself so we can check for ourselves, so that is still always just going to remain a bit of a fan theory, some fanfic. But since then, there's been so much that's happened. I'll go ahead and fill you in on the most recent stuff. Hans Niemann's coach, Maxim Delugi, was publicly outed as a cheater. There was a massive write-up all about how Delugi has cheated in the past. He's even admitted to cheating, and this was obviously a pretty big deal since not only is Maxim Delugi a very big chess player in and of his own right, he even has his own school, but he is the coach of Hans Niemann, who is also being accused of cheating, so it's obviously a bit of a bad look here. But of course it would be foolish to say that because Hans Niemann's coach was cheating, he himself is also cheating. You know, he's not like some baby latched on to Maxim Delugi's tit and suckling milk from it and emulating him. So I think the people that were using this as definitive proof that Hans Niemann was a cheater as well, I think is a bit ridiculous. But yesterday actually, time is moving so weird recently. Like, this drama has created this weird like time dilation vortex where everything moves at a different speed. So I'm getting confused on what day it is now. But yesterday, Hans Niemann was once again thrown into the spotlight with even harder accusations of cheating, this time by Chess.com themselves, who defended their position for why they banned him by releasing a massive report that claims that Hans Niemann most likely cheated in over 100 online games. This is a 72-page report that attempts to prove that Hans Niemann most likely cheated in multiple online games, some of them online games for prize money. Now, Hans did admit that he's cheated in his past before, but he maintained that they were mainly unranked games and that he had only cheated like when he was 12 for online prize money. But this report seems to indicate that he has cheated in more online games than he let on, as well as some of them, a few of them, being for online prize money. And for some reason, people were calling this a nothing burger. And I had to scratch my head. Myself, as well as many others, immediately recognized that this is not a nothing burger. At the very least, this is a something burger junior with a side of fries, because it also includes emails between Chess.com and Hans Niemann, where Hans Niemann does openly confess to cheating in at least one instance, where he claims that he was having someone help him with moves in order to test Chess.com's systems, which I think is kind of weird. You know, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. That seems like an excuse I would have come up with when I was in high school for why I didn't do my homework. Now, yes, the report from Chess.com lacks any hard evidence to suggest Hans Niemann has ever cheated in over-the-board chess, but this is a reputational nuke. This is a huge deal because it directly contradicts not only the claims Hans Niemann made about himself and the amount of times he's cheated, but also showcases that he has cheated a lot in general. You might remember during an interview after all of this started blowing up, Hans Niemann publicly confessed to cheating in his past. He said he cheated when he was 12 as well as when he was 16. All online games, maintained his innocence in over-the-board chess, but said he has cheated in online spaces before. When he was 16, it was mainly to like speed run the ranks a little bit so he could climb faster so his streams would pop off more, because the stronger the player, the stronger the audience. But he really kind of made it seem like it wasn't something he was doing super frequently, over 100 times. And according to the Chess.com report, some of those were with prize money on the line. So that is a massive deal, because at that point, you're scamming your competitors out of potential winnings because of cheating. Like, that is a huge deal. And not all of that happened when he was 12 and 16. The chess.com report indicates he may have been 17 during some of the cheating, and not all of the prize money cheating was when he was 12, apparently, I suppose. Now, there is another little dessert item here that I think is worth mentioning. Chess.com is currently in the process of acquiring Play Magnus Group, which is Magnus Carlsen's chess group, for $82 million. An $82 million merger with Magnus Carlsen. So why is this prudent? Well, it should be obvious, because it's in Chess.com's best interest to side with Magnus Carlsen. Now, whether or not this would skew any of their data or make them unreliable to analyze these things, I don't know. I'm not smart enough. But clearly, since they just spent this much money on Magnus Carlsen and his group, they're not going to paint him in a bad light. And of course, after spending this much money, they're going to be on his side for everything, I imagine. Magnus Carlsen could release a tweet right now saying the world is flat, and Chess.com might retweet it saying he's right, and here's our proof to corroborate Magnus Carlsen. I'm of course joking around, but the point is, they've spent so much money, this is their future business partner, they are clearly going to be on his side, in his corner. I don't know if this means that their report is a hit piece or anything. I don't think so, because it really just seems like a very clear-cut analysis, data that they've all looked at and concluded that there is a high chance that Hans Niemann has cheated more times than he's let on. I don't think that's necessarily been influenced by their business partnership with Magnus Carlsen, and they haven't submitted any evidence to suggest Hans Niemann cheated against Magnus, so it's not like they're out there saying, no, Hans Niemann absolutely cheated against Magnus. They're not saying that. They are just releasing information that continues to say that Hans Niemann has a cheating past, which he does and he has admitted to, and Chess.com has shown that it's more than he's said. So this has been just such a crazy adventure so far, and I don't think it's even close to over. So far, Hans Niemann hasn't said anything about the Chess.com report, because he's currently competing at the US Championships right now. Here's a screenshot I took of him going through security. As you can see, they've really beefed up security here, checking for any electronic devices there with that wand. Now, I took the screenshot while he was looking at Hans Niemann's asshole, but he didn't spend a whole lot of time in that region, and I will critique that. I feel like he should have put special emphasis on making sure there were no anal beads. They didn't do any cavity searches or anything. They're just sticking with the wand. And who knows, maybe Niemann and his laboratory have come up with a way of having these butt plugs not be picked up by the wands. You know, you can never be too safe, right? That's what I always say. But yeah, once again, there hasn't been concrete proof to prove that he cheats in over-the-board chess. However, it is absolutely worth mentioning there have been a lot of reports as well as independent tests conducted on some of Hans Niemann's games as well as his growth as a player. And a lot of it is pretty suspicious, I would say. Again, I'm an 1100 player. I'm nowhere near qualified enough to opine on the evidence that's been submitted. But I will say all of it is looking at the games and comparing them to engine moves, as well as comparing his growth to some of the greats in the chess community, and them pointing out the oddities of it. I myself can't really wrap my head around a lot of it, though of course some things that stand out are some of his games being 100% in line with moves engines would make, as well as a couple of other things. But overall, there has still not been any evidence to suggest how Hans Niemann cheated against Magnus Carlsen, or if he 100% did cheat against Magnus Carlsen. Because again, there are some GMs out there that are maintaining that Hans Niemann may have cheated in online games, but has still not cheated in over-the-board games, stating that Magnus Carlsen really did just play poorly against Niemann at that cup. And yeah, so it's still a very interesting landscape right now, and I'm really curious to see where it goes from here. I absolutely think Hans Niemann needs to respond to this Chess.com article, because I think it's a very big deal, and a lot of what they brought up is pretty important things for him to discuss. And yeah, that's about it. So yeah. Last night, we finally reached the conclusion to a wacky drama arc, and I gotta tell you, the finale really fell flat. What a stinker. I'm talking, of course, about the Bayonetta 3 voice acting situation, where the voice actress for Bayonetta, Helena Taylor, made claims that the pay to voice Bayonetta in the third game was just insulting and unsatisfactory. She led people to believe that they were only offering her $4,000 for the entire game, and that's why she stepped away from the project and then called for a boycott on it. But then a report came out with the real offer and the actual numbers they offered her, and it wasn't confirmed 100% at the time by Helena Taylor until last night, where she went on a 9-tweet long rampage where she made it clear that she manipulated everyone with her Twitter videos and omitted important details from them, and basically just used everyone like toilet paper to wipe her ass with here over a petty feud with Nintendo and Platinum Games. I don't see any future where Helena Taylor bounces back from this as a voice actress. She also does make the claim that she has no interest in voice acting anymore, so perhaps this was her, go out with a bang moment or something like that. But to me, this just feels like going out like a sad, wet fart, just lying to everyone and ruining your good reputation, because she was a beloved voice actress. She voiced Bayonetta, an iconic character, and now this is going to be the main thing she's remembered for. I went over all of it on stream as it unfolded in real time, so I'm going to go ahead and play all those clips for you now and bring you all up to speed on how this all wrapped up. It's come to my attention that some people are calling me a liar and a gold digger. I feel the need to defend myself and my reputation in the industry. See thread. Gold digging is not the right word. That's not really applicable here. As I posted on part 3 of my video thread, I explained that their first offer was too low. That offer was $10,000 total. Remember, this is a $450 million franchise. I then wrote in Japanese to Hideki Kamiya, asking for what I was worth. I thought that as a creative he would understand. Hold on. He replied saying how much he valued my contribution to the game and how much the fans wanted me to voice the game. I was offered an extra $5,000, so I declined to voice the game. Heard nothing from them for 11 months. Then they offered me a flat fee to voice the some lines for $4,000. Any other lies, such as $4,000 for 5 sessions, are total fabrications. There were not extensive negotiations. I've been informed of ridiculous fictions, such as I asked for $250K. I'm a team player. I was just asking for a fair living wage in line with the value that I bring to the game. I was paid a shockingly low total of 3,000 euros total for the first game, a little more for the second. I wanted a voice there. I've drummed up interest in this game ever since I started on Twitter in 2011. So one thing that stands out, she never said that she was offered $10,000 total across any of those games. Did I miss that? She had always made it seem like they had only offered her $4,000 total. And also, this isn't even a lie either, by the way. According to the articles, the total would have come out to $15,000. So this right here, the $10K plus an extra $5K is $15,000. She's confirming that. I don't know why she's saying any other lies about $4K for 5 sessions or total fabrications. That, like, she is just confirming that that was an accurate thing. It matches up with the timeline that she was offered a 4K cameo. Was that confirmed? Because then that would match, yeah. One of the reports I read is she was offered a cameo after she declined, and they were going to pay her $4,000 for like an hour of her time. Which I think is very fair as a cameo, since she declined the main role. So that is a confirmed statement then? Okay. Then yeah. She's basically just confirmed everything from the report as being accurate. What she's saying in her video is that she wasn't lying. Yeah, but this contradicts that, because now she's being open. That offer was $10,000, which she never said in any of her 3 videos. She had said a flat rate of 4K total. She explicitly said that. This $10K was never mentioned by her as their offer. But is $10,000 a lot? Well, that's what I said. There's plenty of room to debate on like what voice actors should be making, like at a professional level for AAA games. There's plenty of room for a debate there on that being not enough. But that's not the point here. The point is she misled everyone on what was actually going on.
What did they offer to pay me? The final offer to do the whole game as a buyout, a flat rate, was $4,000 US.
Bang. It's just a quiet video. I don't know what to tell you. She recorded this with terrible sound quality. It's just a quiet video. I don't know what to do about it. It's maxed on OBS and it's maxed here. It's just a quiet video. But yeah, she outright said it's $4,000 for the whole game, which is just blatantly wrong, which she even confirmed in her own thread here. They're not even discrediting what you have to say. You've discredited yourself as well. They just posted the facts, which prove you wrong, which you also just proved yourself wrong. I don't know. I don't understand what her end game was here. What a disaster. What an absolute fucking disaster. Wow. It's a $450 trillion game. True. How are you still talking about this? What? She just made it. What do you mean, how am I still talking about it? She made it 9 tweets an hour ago, all proving that the reports were the accurate ones and she lied. What do you mean, how am I still talking about it? Just happened. So they offered her 10K. She declined. They offered her an extra 5K. She declined again. They hired someone new. She found out, wanted back, and after 11 months, they offered her a cameo for 4K. She got mad at that and made the tweets. Yeah, that seems to be the timeline. No, again, I think there's plenty of room for a debate on voice actor pay. 100%. This was not the way of doing it, though. This was absolutely awful. Right back into reading just like Yu-Gi-Oh! You want to know the crazy thing? All of her tweets right here, all 9 of these, probably don't even equate to a single Yu-Gi-Oh! Card worth of text. If she had said all this from the start, I think most people would have had the same reaction about how underpaid the offer was. It's possible. I have no idea, because, I mean, we can only speculate. If she had just been honest, like, hey, I'm not voicing Bayo 3 because I really feel like voice actors aren't getting the pay they deserve in the AAA gaming space. Here's the offer here's the offer Platinum Games made me. Here's the amount of hours they expected me to work for this pay. I found it to be low, so I walked. Like, she could have still drummed up plenty of support that way. Some people would agree with her, some people would disagree, but that's the whole point of having the conversation. Is there any possible reason for Helena Taylor to have tried something like this only to sabotage herself? That's what I've been really trying to figure out. I don't know. I don't know what the goal was. Like, I don't see what she possibly thought could come from this. Like, let's say, here, let's just picture a world where she was telling the truth, which she's now confirmed she wasn't. But let's picture a world where she was. Best case scenario, she financially hurts Platinum Games and Nintendo a little bit with some people that boycott the game and don't play it. But even in that situation, how does that help her? Game companies are going to look at her and what she did there and be skeptical of hiring her, because what if she does that again? Like, I feel like we're paying her a good rate, but what if she's secretly not happy with it? What if she blasts us online and starts up a controversy? Like, then she becomes a flight risk for all of the other game companies as well as all the other projects. She'd be unhireable regardless for a lot of places. Crunchyroll has been very anti-union recently. They refuse to even have meetings with... Yeah! You just brought up something interesting we talked about a bit. The voice actor for Mob in Mob Psycho 100 for the English dub, the man just asked about the union, and they dropped him. Straight dropped him for asking about the union. I was like speaking Voldemort's name out loud. He made a video on it. I think his name's Kyle McCartney? Or McCarley. Kyle McCarley. He made a video explaining what happened here. It's interesting. He said he would do the work if they just had a meeting about potentially hiring union in the future, and they said no. Yep. I recommend checking the video out if you're interested in it. I think it's a fascinating topic, and a sad one, obviously, because he just lost the main role in Mob Psycho just for even talking about the union. Yeah, overall, a pretty upsetting situation, and one other thing that I'd like to mention that I didn't talk on during stream is during Helena Taylor's initial Twitter videos, she also, insults Jennifer Hale, the voice actress who came in to voice Bayonetta 3 in the upcoming game after Helena Taylor declined the role. For some reason, she was super rude to her, saying she has no right to call herself Bayonetta and all this shit, which just came across as, very salty, maldy, and misplaced aggression, because Jennifer Hale did nothing wrong. It's not like she was in the room during negotiations trying to, force Helena Taylor out or something. So that always rubbed me the wrong way, and I said that on the very first video immediately. And I just want to point that out once again, that looks even worse now, considering Helena Taylor was the one that misled everyone here as to the truth of what was going on and omitted the most important details of this story and situation. So I just wanted to again call attention to that, because this whole thing is just awful. I don't understand. I still don't understand what she thought would come from this. She, I guess, just assumed they would never release the real reports of what she was offered, and that clearly wasn't the case. They came with the receipts, which Helena Taylor investigated and said, yep, these are the real receipts, yet still somehow tries to make it seem like she wasn't misleading people, even though it's clear when you read her tweets she was. So the whole thing is just so messy, and yeah, just wanted to give everyone the update on how this all finished off. That's about it. So yeah, if you're standing up, you're going to want to sit down. You're going to want to take a seat for this news. It's hard-hitting, like getting a call that Meemaw slipped and fell, except this isn't sad news, this is truly just baffling news. Right now in the chess community, there is a cheating scandal that's been going on for a couple weeks now that is so nefarious and so dubious, it'll have you questioning everything in your life. You won't know what's real and what's fake anymore once I reveal this to you. You'll start wondering if your parents are even your real biological parents, you know? It's gonna change your universe, you know? You'll start wondering, is the queen even dead? It goes so deep beyond chess. Like, I don't care if you have no interest in chess whatsoever, I really think this cheating scandal is still going to be captivating to you. Now, if you watch my streams, twitch.tv/moistcritical, feel free to stop in, stream every day, put a few extra inches on your penis. I've been following this since it happened, since ground zero, patient zero. The day that this began, I was actively following it on stream and going over everything as it developed. And now we've reached the point where it's spiraled so far out of control that it's just inducing madness. I feel like that scene in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia where he's got like the corkboard with all of the evidence and everything pointing to one name, Pepe Silvia. Like, it's become so convoluted and crazy. I just need to give you a quick spoiler to get you hooked on this story. The cheating allegations involve high-tech anal beads vibrating in a chess grandmaster's ass to transmit the best possible moves in order to win a match. That's the level of wildness we're dealing with here. I can't wait to share it, so let's get into it. I can't show any clips from the actual chess tournament where all this took place, or even subsequent clips of interviews, because as I understand it, they're very strict with that. So I'm just going to have to paint a picture with words and show you some corresponding tweets and articles and everything. So in a nutshell, what happened is the #1 chess player in the world, Magnus Carlsen, was competing in a tournament and was facing off against Hans Niemann, a very strong grandmaster, however not nearly to the level of Magnus Carlsen. This should have been an absolute steamroll. Everyone expected Magnus to just blue waffle Hans here, just kind of a throwaway, especially considering that Magnus Carlsen was playing the white pieces. For those that aren't familiar with chess, white pieces move first. And in the upper echelon of chess, that's a difference maker. It's a huge advantage. So you have the best player in the world with an advantage facing off against the lowest rated player in the tournament. You'd expect a fat W from Magnus here. But that's not the result that we got in this dimension. I'm sure in every other multiverse out there, Hans Niemann lost this match. But in this one, the one that we currently reside, Hans Niemann won. He beat Magnus Carlsen. So that alone was enough to raise eyebrows, but what set off the cheating allegations and all of this speculation was the subsequent interview. When Hans Niemann was interviewed about this absolutely colossal triumph, he gave a questionable interview that was a little weird, kind of all over the place. And you'd expect that because he's young. Hans Niemann is a 19-year-old kid. You know, he's not like a chiseled old veteran, you know, he doesn't have like a graying goatee, he's not like a fucking Master Roshi or anything, like, so you'd kind of expect him to be a little scatterbrained here, which is what I thought. You know, now granted, I'm not like a chess authority, I'm not a top player, I'm a fucking tiny pea-brained 1100 player, but even still, you know, it's a young man who just pulled off one of the biggest upsets in chess history. I wouldn't have expected him to give a fully buttoned-up interview and analysis, but during the interview, he said that he actually studied the line Magnus played against him beforehand, which was setting off all kinds of alarm bells. Now, keep in mind, this is a massive upset. The chess community was more willing to believe the Earth was flat than believe Magnus Carlsen lost with the white pieces. So they were already a little on edge with some question marks, and when Hans Niemann said that he had actually studied Magnus's line, everyone immediately flocked to the chess database to see when Magnus played this line prior, and it seems he'd only ever played it once. So a lot of people were questioning, why would Hans Niemann study this line when it's not something Magnus is known for, it's not something he's ever really played before? Why would Hans Niemann have just studied this right before the tournament? So then they start picking apart the interview and noticing that some of the things Hans was saying weren't fully correct. And keep in mind, these aren't just like normal spectators, I'm talking grandmasters, like the best of the best chess players were all opining on this situation and giving their perspective on it. And then Magnus Carlsen made this tweet which really set everything off. Magnus Carlsen announced that he was withdrawing from the tournament following his loss to Hans Niemann, and then posted that very famous YouTube clip of the coach saying, "If I say anything, I'm going to be in trouble, so I'm not going to say anything." And obviously this is an insinuation of foul play. That's how the chess community took it. That's how pretty much any sensible person would take it. Him tweeting this out with the "if I say anything, I'm in trouble" and withdrawing immediately had everyone believing that Magnus Carlsen was softly accusing Hans of cheating. Following this, the biggest chess streamer in the world, Hikaru Nakamura, explained on stream that Hans Niemann had actually been banned from chess.com before for cheating during some matches. Shortly after all the cheating accusations came to light, Hans Niemann was then banned from chess.com. So, now you're all caught up to speed on what exactly happened, but you're questioning, how could he have possibly cheated? And that's where this conspiracy goes fucking insano style. The leading theory across all of the major outlets is Hans Niemann was using anal beads that vibrated to instruct him what moves to make against Magnus Carlsen in the match. I'm not fucking kidding. This is the leading theory on how Hans Niemann cheated against Magnus Carlsen. So in order to fully digest this entree, I'm going to need to explain how cheating in chess can possibly work. A lot of them are galaxy brain schemes. Now, for those that aren't familiar with chess, there's engines. There's basically chess bots that will always know the best possible moves in any given situation, any position on the board. One of them is called Stockfish. So Stockfish has actually been modified in order to fit in someone's shoe. And this was tested by an independent player who put the Stockfish bot in his shoe. He calls it Sockfish. And it was able to transmit the best possible moves for his match, and it worked to a pretty decent degree of success, though of course needed further refining, but the technology does exist. It worked by sending pulsing to his foot that would basically work like Morse code, so it would pulse and tell him what position to move what piece and where. So pretty fucking cool. Now obviously that's illegal. You can't sneak a chess bot to play for you. It's cheating, but I think the point of this experiment was to show that it is possible. And he didn't do this in like a legitimate match. He revealed to his opponent, who found it humorous. But it is pretty impressive technology, so it's not far-fetched to think that anal beads couldn't accomplish the same thing as James Stanley's Sockfish. If you take the same idea, where you take Stockfish in the Raspberry Pi for the shoe and use it for your asshole, it could send vibrations or pulses through your rectum and work the same way as Sockfish. It would vibrate your colon in a way that would tell you the position to move on the board. So it can exist. Like, it's not super far-fetched. Like, we're not in the realm of sci-fi. It's not a fantasy. You could technically make some kind of butt plug that runs Stockfish and just have it vibrate Morse code for where you should move your pieces. It can, theoretically exist. Now, whether or not Hans Niemann had a butt plug or anal beads in that did this, it's up for anyone's guess. Only God knows, and only Hans Niemann's butthole knows. The thing with chess cheating is you can never be 100% sure either way, because for a grandmaster to cheat, they'd only really need to hear one thing, a cough, that indicates there's a tactic on the board or anything, because they're all so good. If they just have even the slightest hint that there's something there, they will find it pretty quickly. So no one's 100% sure how prevalent cheating is. However, there's only been a few cases of cheating being caught at the top level. The most famous being about a decade ago during an Olympiad. There was a very high IQ plot to cheat where the teammate would send a coded text to another teammate, and then they would sit at a particular table which corresponded to a position on the board, and judging by where they were sitting, the player would then know what moves to make fundamentally. So by changing where they were sitting, they were transmitting information to the player, which obviously isn't allowed. Very galaxy brain shit, but this was caught and they did receive punishment for it. So yeah, it has happened before, but it's not something common. Now let's get back into this case specifically. Hans Niemann has been very outspoken. He's addressed all the rumors and every outlandish claim imaginable. He's been very open with everything. Now I want to give my personal perspective here, and I've talked about it on stream. I don't think Hans Niemann cheated. I really don't. The security was super tight at this event, and they were very thorough with their checks. in chess, they have checks to make sure that you're not smuggling in anything illegal or anything unsavory, unprofessional. You know, nothing that would give you an advantage. So during the beginning of this match, I can't show you the clip, but I'll show you a quick picture. They had a guy with a wand scanning Hans's entire body, top to bottom, even going as far as to investigate his gum, even checking his shoes, probably looking for sockfish, checking every nook and cranny of Hans Niemann's body without actually doing a cavity search. You know, he didn't give him like the Naruto 1,000 years of pain up the asshole or anything, but he came pretty close. And he didn't find anything. So I just think it's highly unlikely Hans Niemann was able to pull a fast one on the chess organization here. I don't think he was able to smuggle in any secretive nanobot anal beads, because I feel like that would have been picked up by the wand this guy was scanning him with. So again, I think he went all natural here, fully biological, no augments. I don't think he cheated bringing a bot in or anything like that. Now, Hans Niemann has given yet another interview going more in depth on cheating allegations from his past. Hikaru brought up that he was banned by chess.com for cheating in some matches, and Hans Niemann does confirm that when he was younger, he did cheat in some online matches. He says they were unrated matches. It was back when he was younger, trying to grow his stream, and he had cheated back when he was like 12 years old as well in, again, online format, but has said he has never cheated in over-the-board chess. And this was very brave of him to be so open with his past of cheating online, because that's just one of those things that you don't really see a lot of people just tackle headstrong. That's something a lot of people bury. And I guess he was kind of forced to here since it was brought to light. But I still think being that transparent with it is pretty impressive, even if it is to the detriment of his career. I don't know how it's going to affect it going forward. Him being that open, I think, is pretty strong. And he is defending the legitimacy of his over-the-board career. In response to Hans Niemann's interview, Chess.com put out a statement saying that he will remain banned and that they had evidence that contradicts some of the statements he made, but Chess.com has yet to put forth that evidence for people to see. So as of right now, he's still banned and the evidence is hidden. And now I want to make it clear, not every Grandmaster is saying that Hans cheated. It's some of them that are standing strong that it's very suspicious how he beat Magnus. Some of them are claiming that all of his moves are a little too in line with moves that the chess bots make. But there are still a lot that support Hans, saying that, you know, Magnus just didn't play that well that day. So it's really just full back and forth here. But since the anal bead theory broke, there was even an offer for Hans Niemann to play naked for $1 million to prove he didn't cheat. This anal bead theory is what's really taken hold from the cheating scandal here. And it all started as a meme. I don't think a lot of these publications did their due diligence here. The anal bead theory was just kind of a joke on the chess subreddit. There was very few people that legitimately believed it. They just started talking about it just because it was silly. But a lot of these publications have picked it up as if it's something believable. And yeah, theoretically, it could exist, but I still find it very unlikely that it does. But the point is, it started as just a joke that's now become something much bigger. And Hans Niemann said he'll fucking play naked to prove he hasn't cheated. Like, he's being a good sport about the anal bead stuff. He said he'll just play full bare-ass chess to prove that he is an innocent man when it comes to over-the-board chess games. Now, I'd like to just briefly give my opinion on Magnus Carlsen's tweet, because that's what really turbocharged all these cheating accusations here. He made that tweet and then went complete radio silence. He hasn't spoken out about this since, when he's the one that really, kicked a shit in the septic tank here and let it fester. I think it's a little, embarrassing to make that tweet and then have no follow-up. He just very slyly insinuates Hans may have been cheating. He withdraws from the tournament, which is no small thing, mind you. That's a big gesture. But refuses to actually come in here and give his stance on it when he's the one that kind of started most of it. I think that's a little sad. I would like if Magnus Carlsen would elaborate on why he made that tweet and what it's exactly in reference to. Is he accusing Hans of cheating? Does he think Hans cheated? Or did everyone misinterpret his tweet? I don't like the ambiguity of it. I would really appreciate, and I think most people would appreciate, if he elaborated a bit on his position, since he's the one that, he threw out the first move here going for like a scholar's mate potentially. So why not explain it a little more thoroughly? Tell us the line. But anyway, I just wanted to quickly get that out there because, I feel kind of strongly about that. But overall, I don't think he cheated, but we'll never fully know. No one will ever fully know because there's no way it will ever be proven. But what a wild story regardless. Anyway, that's about it. See ya. Obvious cheater fakes blindfolded Super Mario 64 speedrun. I love cheating. I love this kind of shit. Let's see. I have not heard of this before.
Despite the immense popularity of Super
Jesus,
Mario
what is that? A
64
fucking
speedrun,
soiled
there is a
diaper on his
comparatively
face?
small amount of people running the blindfolded categories, a testament to how difficult
Or like a
blindfolded
heating
speedrunning
pad?
really is. And I have here a video of one of these runs, and I aim to show some of the clear discrepancies between this run and the genuine blindfolded runs of SM64 that are out there. The best time on a run he has currently submitted is an 1826.
Ew.
Relatively mid-level time for 16-star. The first
Pathetic.
thing that actually put me off when I was watching this, or punching.
I
against the
honestly
wall
thought
with
this
Mario
guy was the
blindfolded-
cheater because this thing looks so over the top. Straight up just looked like, it looks like Among Us. Like, this shit is crazy. I thought that this was some kind of elaborate scam, but I'm guessing this is a legitimate runner. What is he wearing? Can someone, like, it's not a blindfold. This is like a whole goddamn, like, face sauna thing. Some, like, actual Daft Punk shit. It's a towel? How's that a towel? It's like karate safety gear that SpongeBob wore. Hats off to him though, like this, it looks fucking crazy. Like this is hardcore.
Looking at a legitimate example by Bubzia, you can see that a consistent setup with clear intention is being used in order to get onto the Chain Chomp's pole. Note the use of a notched angle.
Turns out
and fixed
everyone's
camera in order
cheating.
to guarantee
They're all
a
just
direct
trying
line
to
the pole in
pretend
corner
the
of
best
the
they
page.
can.
Comparatively, this runner seemed to have absolutely no normalized setup whatsoever. He takes what looks like either an intentional death or a legitimate mistake, and then tries again a second time. This time around, he seems to be using an almost completely different, yet still unnormalized setup to get onto the pole. With how much focus and skill are required to complete a blindfolded run, it's an anomaly that this runner with barely any practice is so casually able to do a strat that no other blindfolded runner has attempted.
Well, he's
And
just
yet
the
with
god
absolutely
gamer.
No normalized strats, he seems to do everything with some relative ease. In the next star, he goes for the traditional cannon
He's
setup
some
that you would
random
normally
guy.
see in most sighted runs. Once again, looking at a blindfolded version of this strat, there is a clear intention with every input using normalized movements and guaranteed setups. Looking back
God,
at
the
this
blindfolded run is
the movement
crazy.
across the falling bridge and over to the piranha plant is extremely wobbly and very inconsistent. He then lines up next to the plank using these extremely small adjustments that have no audio cues whatsoever. Anyone that runs this game or has even tried this trick before knows that it's
Yeah, this is super fake.
the
Oh my
only possible
god.
way anyone could do it
He didn't even
blindfolded
try.
with the movement used here would be if they weren't actually blindfolded at all, and were instead using a distinctly visual cue. Here, only a true gamer such as this man would be able to somehow sidestep this Goomba, quickly make his way up the path, and then do this long jump to the next red, all completely blindfolded and with absolutely no setup necessary. Simply amazing.
What was the point though? Like, surely he didn't think that.
Heard you, Goomba.
He then pushes a Goomba that he claims he heard, even though there is no good way
smelt
of
it.
gauging distance that precise with sound cues.
No, he's got a super
It would
sniffer.
have
He's like
probably been
Scooby
both
Doo.
faster and safer to just keep walking forward anyway.
There's no way he'd think that he'd
Notice
fool the
then
whole
the small
community that
adjustment he
actively
makes in
runs
order to
this
be
game
lined up
though,
with the final
blindfolded.
slope. Anyone who is actually blindfolded here would have almost certainly
what's the
kept
point?
holding right with no adjustment. Moving on to basement, we see another series of extremely suspicious and inconsistent setups. In Shifting Sandland, he is somehow able to get the Talon Star using a strategy only viable for visual runs. The amount
Until
of adjustment
now.
needed to long jump to the Fly Guy and twirl over to Klepto is simply too precise to be done consistently in a blindfolded run.
More like to be
Stop
done
this
at
guy.
all.
He's able to do it first try with no issues. The last half of this run is so blatantly fake that it makes the previous 20 minutes
thank you,
look
Bryce.
completely legit by comparison.
And yes. Oh, come on, let's go.
Yeah, let's
We now
fucking
come to this
go.
point. In my opinion, there is absolutely no way he can know how close or far away he is from the door because he is using literally no sight.
No,
The
he's
exact same is true for
he's
his
smelling the
finisher
game,
door.
baby.
Once again, with absolutely no discernible audio cues and no real setup whatsoever, he somehow either knows exactly where he is on the door, or just gets lucky enough to clip through it after randomly guessing. He spends around 30 seconds here walking back and forth along the door, and somehow is able to find the exact right spot to make it through. Somehow it still gets worse after this. At this point,
I'm
pretty much
actually
the rest of
convinced
the
that he's
game
doing
is
it for
thinking
real.
about what a
He
real
is
blindfolded run
blindfolded.
should look like. It really
I think
looks
I'm
like
just
he's
seeing an
given
ultimate
up on
gamer.
trying to sell the illusion any further.
I slid off something. Fuck, am I at the submarine? Yes, okay.
The fact that he even says this is strange to me. There's literally nothing else in this level
Overacting a little bit.
besides the sub. So it doesn't
Fuck,
really
am I
make any
playing
sense
Super
to
Mario?
if he had to figure out what he was
Jesus,
following.
okay, well, this is good. This is good
He
for
needed
us.
to make it look like he had. Despite this, he is somehow able to
Oh.
leap back around at the perfect angle and lands back on the fin.
It's his gamer
Once again, with
senses.
absolutely zero sound cues or any setup. Nothing suspicious to see here. And then there's Fire Sea.
Well, this has always just been an easy level, though. I could do this blindfolded, and I haven't played this game in 8
Right.
years now.
So after some
It's
more
easy.
fake strats in Fire Sea,
That's some pussy
one
shit.
fake Bowser throw setup, he then commits what is possibly the most obvious and completely shameless move in the entire run.
I don't know how he tops some of the other shit, to be honest.
Fuck, I didn't get that extra life.
I was laughing my ass off when I first saw this. Not only does he somehow know exactly
What a
where the
man!
box is, but he also knows exactly what direction the 1-up will go in once it spawns, something completely determined by RNG. Then, after chasing it on a moving platform for a completely arbitrary amount of time,
I'm sure there's a reasonable
someone knows
explanation.
exactly when and where to jump to the left. You don't even need to know anything about Super Mario 64 or blindfolded speedrunning to understand that what just happened is completely bullshit. Immediately after skipping the first 1-up, he messes around on the first rotating elevator, grabbing the next 1-up in the process.
Yes, okay.
All clearly...
His acting's not even good, though. Like, why not
After
really
this,
sell
He
it?
once again makes an intentional mistake.
Like, oh my fucking god, it's an extra life!
Blindfolded.
Whee! Go wild.
Following this, he traverses the wooden platforms and tries to go for yet another 1-up.
This man's addicted to 1-ups.
He clearly saw this 1-up with his eyes, but then remembered he was supposed to be blindfolded. So he passes it off by acting like he knew there should be a 1-up there and goes back to grab it. Again, no setup whatsoever.
There should be, like, some bomb-bombs up. Yes, okay.
This is absolutely pointless, as he had already just verified where he was. All he had to do here was hold forward and he would have reached the next wall. At this point, he once again reiterates the fact that this is only his third blindfolded run ever.
Wow, he's a prodigy.
This is your second blindfolded run, isn't it?
Technically this is my third.
And to be
The
fair,
first one I did was like...
while he can see, it is still blindfolded. There is a blindfold there.
But this guy doesn't do that. He instead goes for a regrab and gets it, again with no setup and no sound cues. He hits the throw on his second try, again using the normal visual.
This man's a hero! Let's
During his
go!
second throw, he stops and talks for about 30
Maybe
seconds.
he's like the
to explain how he
Daredevil.
First learned to speedrun
He,
blindfolded.
like, he's like a superhuman who can do things
The
blind.
viewer is asking.
And well, during streams, I would like, because I knew before I did my first blind run,
Holy fuck, James, you're good at blindfolded. Oh, that poor guy. Oh.
just like
I guarantee he bought some shungite.
or just look, is because I'm trying to time it based on like where my thumb is
Oh.
on the controller.
No, now it makes sense.
Because that's typically like a right around where Mario is, like
Right.
the direction that he's gonna throw. So I
Usually.
need to be like, if I think the bomb is where I think it is, if the bomb is where
Mhm.
I think it is, and I'm looking at it, then
Then we're golden.
Obviously, none of
Then
this
we're
makes
in.
sense in the first place, but he is directly.
Were you listening to the explanation?
Here he sits
feels
on
the
ledge about
chakra
using
vibrations
where
in the
his thumb
air.
is on the stick to know where Bowser is, which already makes no sense on its own. Except he also mentioned in his first Bowser throw that he was using sound cues. Maybe he's only pretending to be blindfolded so he can hide the fact that he sucks at Bowser throws.
Oh, let's not get personal here. Okay? Come on now. Let's be professional about this.
He eventually does land the last throw, luckily avoiding all the fire.
Unbelievable.
And barely avoiding
Besmirching this good man's
nothing but pure
name.
skill and game sense.
So would you be opposed to doing Bowser in the sky and throws while turned around with a blanket over my head?
Yeah, that's reasonable. Say yes.
$50 if I do it turned around with a blanket over my head?
I'll give you 500. Start a bidding war. Don't cry. Say yes. Yeah. Let's get hungry. Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Fuck.
Despite the glaring flaws in this person's gameplay, he has somehow been able to convince all but a few of his viewers that his blindfolded runs are legit. Messages in his Twitch and Facebook gaming chats show that most of the people watching him are completely convinced that what they're seeing is real. The best I can possibly assume in this situation is that he may actually be doing some of these parts at least partially blindfolded, only peeking through the blindfold whenever he's completely lost or doesn't know what to do. It's either that or the blindfold is just completely see-through, and his only goal during the run is to make it look like he can't actually see.
I think that's exactly what it is.
I almost thought this run was a joke, but it's...
So, before we get to the conclusion and his apology, I am going to speculate he can see the whole time and just does his best to act like it's blindfolded, but he doesn't know like how to ride that line. So he's either extremely overacting or underacting. It's never like good acting. It's just a poor performance all around. I was in the Hunger Games. I don't like to bring that up too often, but with my acting expertise, I can always pick apart acting, whether it's good or bad. So I just have to make that clear. And his explanation of Bowser with his thumb on the control stick correlating to where Mario is in the Nether Realm, the Shadow Realm, whatever. There's some real merit to that, though, I think.
I want to give a big shout out to both Katoon and Bubzia for their incredible help on this video. They helped to clarify a lot of questions I had about blindfolded Mario 64, and this video would not have been as comprehensive without their inputs. Also thanks to both them and Nabori for allowing me to use their footage for comparisons. I've left links to all of their streams.
Holy shit, did you see that? There's like 15 blindfolds on him.
Also thanks to both them and Nabori
for allowing me to use their
towel,
a blindfold,
I've left links to all of their streams
all
and
together.
YouTube channels in the description. Please check all 3 of them out if you want to see some legitimate blindfolded runs of Mario.
I kind of want to learn Super Mario speedrunning, to be honest. I tried back in 2012, watching Siglimic. It's hard, but it looks so fun. That was a great video. So, you said the guy apologized? Okay, so I'm guessing it's this one. That is the... I don't want to just keep pausing it, but a PSA to anyone. Never start an apology video like that. That is the most cliche shit ever. I'm surprised he doesn't have a dog on his lap. Rough. The sigh. If he follows it up by saying, I didn't want to have to make this video, I'm going to lose my fucking mind.
Now, what you may not know is that speedrun was purposely fake.
Oh, fuck yeah. Let's go.
At all similar to other blindfolded speedruns. I've watched blindfolded speedruns, and they're very impressive. They're very impressive.
They are. They are very impressive.
And I never once wanted to take away anything from those individuals that do those runs. I have the utmost respect for them. Those runs are very impressive. At this point, I've never, like...
You should double down and be like, those runs fucking suck compared to mine.
I myself am a speedrunner, but I have no legitimate interest in going that route with my speed runs. I know the video paints me in a very specific light, and I'm not a bad person. I'm not, like, a mean-spirited person.
It didn't make any of those claims. Spiteful.
I don't do things maliciously. What? It's not who I am. This was just good fun. This was just jokes.
I had fun.
My downfall...
I did enjoy it.
And others have understood where I'm coming from. And while some of them might say, ah, man, you know, that's still rough, but... that
he doesn't even cry.
But again...
Why are you going to make an apology video and not cry?
Like I didn't...
Alright. I think what he should have done, like if I was his PR manager, I think he should have come into this apology really combative. He should have come in here and be like, anyone who thinks I cheated, I challenge you to fucking wrestle me in the Thunderdome. I've rented out the local octagon, and if you think I cheated, you can come fucking fight me. Like, he should have just come in here really aggressive and just denied the fuck out of it. There's few things more sacred than a fishing tournament. Just some good old-fashioned elbow grease, a fishing rod, some bait, and grabbing Mother Nature by the balls and saying, we evolved past the need to be aquatic creatures. Now we live on the land, but we're coming back out to the sea just to prove who the boss is, who's the top of the food chain. The point I'm making is fishing tournaments, they've been around for a long time, and there hasn't really been any major scandals, at least none that have hit the mainstream that I'm aware of, until today. right now there is a massive cheating scandal going on in the professional fishing scene that is shocking. This is a doozy. We got some Bassmaster foolery going on around here. Kind of. Yeah, the sanctity of fishing has been disrespected. Unfortunately, there has been another cheating scandal, this time in professional fishing. Every sport ever right now is having cheating scandals. It's crazy. I don't know what's going on. Pandora's box has been open. And this one, it's quite crafty. I've seen the video beforehand, but I'll of course play it again to catch everyone up to speed. It's a pretty smart idea. I'm surprised that this isn't more common. Things are resub Lancer, Baggy, the Prime, Kintaret, and the 10 gift subs Ace. Thank you, Ace. Resub Gavin, Delicious, Oni, and the Bits Mushroom. And gift sub Father. It's like a NASCAR rally. Show me your butthole.
Where's the other one? Fucking cop! That's fucking dumb, motherfucker! Call the fucking cops. Listen to me right now.
Now, I'm gonna be on the side of the fishermen here. This is legitimately a problem because by cheating in these tournaments, they won a lot of money, robbing people of that prize. So it wouldn't be silly to get authorities involved. Because fishing tournaments, they actually do have decent prize pools. It's more than you'd expect. You know, like, you're not going to be like a multi-billionaire off fishing tournaments or anything, but it's a good chunk of change, especially for just like hobby fishermen or even semi-professional or professional fishermen. It's a good chunk. Like, sometimes it'll get up to 10, 20, 30 grand from the ones I've seen. This one was 300k. 300k? Holy fuck! Oh, that's what this guy made in total from his winnings. Oh. From cheating. Okay, gotcha. Jesus.
I don't want anybody to touch these guys. I want you to go to jail. Tell the cops. It's this.
That's a lot of Wrangler jeans. So here's the method they use to cheat. Actually very smart, not gonna lie. Yep. Lead anal beads. They thought of everything. They put little weights in the fish they caught so that way they were heavier. Because when it comes to professional fishing, it's all about the weight of the fish you catch. That's how you're scored, right? You catch a big, heavy, girthy fish, you get, you know, more points for it. So this guy was stuffing weights down their throat to make them heavier. Actually ingenious, by the way. Like, that's pretty fucking smart.
Fucking champ, dude. I mean, we all fucking knew it. What the fuck, man?
One guy's just so disappointed. Hey, man, what the fuck?
A filleted fish. Look at this. Is a fillet, yeah. A fillet fish. It's a walleye fillet.
Yep.
He needs to go to jail. Anything to say, Jerry?
Now, one thing I had a question on, because I haven't finished the video, I wanted to save the ending for a stream so that way we're all learning together. Is this the cheater right here? Because he looks very defeated. I'm assuming this is him. Yeah, it is. Jake, as the good book said, you can't cheat in fishing. One of the 10 commandments. And he's got sponsors too. At least judging by his jacket here. That's rough.
You got anything to say?
Hey, you guys need money. We fuck all that fucking money.
Talk shit to me, dude. And that's what you fucking do.
How many fucking weights are there?
Oh man. I'm surprised it didn't get more aggressive. What did Steve do?
Take pictures. I need pictures.
You videoing this whole thing?
Got video.
Yeah. I videoed it right off the rip.
Was Steve the one that caught him?
Let me take pictures. You fucked over a lot of people, man. They've been doing this shit for years. Cheating motherfuckers, man. Piece of fucking shit. You got a fucking boat. You got thousands of fucking dollars. You stole from
He's absolutely right. He did steal all that from the people that competed legitimately. So how was he caught? I didn't want to look too deep into this because I thought it'd be more fun to uncover the truth together. Where can I read about like the method the method they used to catch him? Because now at this point, I'm expecting a lot. I'm expecting they use like infrared scanners or something. They brought in a fish whisperer to ask the fish how much it weighed. And then when it turns out the fish was lighter than the scale said, they got suspicious. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. This is more than just an accusation. This is like as definitive proof as you can find of cheating. Fish aren't just swallowing these lead weights. Like, that's just not happening. This guy's a 100% cheater. It wasn't an accident. Okay, so they came out with a firm statement. Disgusted guys and gals, I'm sorry for letting you down for so long. I'm glad I caught cheating taking place in your loot at the same time. What in tarnation? What is that? I'm glad I caught cheating taking place in your loot. What does that mean? It's an acronym for the tourney. Oh, the Lake Erie Walleye Trail. Ah, gotcha, thanks. Nice. Good work, loot. How did they catch him, though? Clearly got away with this for a long time. How were they finally busted? Why weren't they bleeding? Well, if you read this paragraph or this sentence right here, it explains. 2 anglers were caught cheating in a Cleveland fishing tournament by adding lead weights in fish fillets that appeared to be previously prepared to increase the weight of the fish. So it wasn't just the weights. That's why he kept pulling out the, look at this fillet! Fisher, the tournament's organizer, told 19 News the fish looked smaller than they weighed. This prompted the fish to be checked for any signs of cheating. Wait, they eyeballed it? How did they get away with it for so long then? I assume the weight was just like marginally bigger than the fish, so that way it wasn't too suspicious, but if they were able to eyeball like, wow, this is outrageous compared to the size, how could they have possibly got away with it for a long time? Or maybe Fisher's just got a really strong eye. Yeah, no, this guy's got a great name to be a fishing tournament organizer. His name's just straight up Fisher, so that's cute. I run a fishing tournament in Louisiana and we have busted someone for this exact same thing. When we went to put the fish on the scale, the weights fell out of its mouth. Oh, get fucked. Unlucky. He's got to work on stuffing that turkey. Amateur. He made $300K in just 1 year. He's made $3 million total from cheating. Oh, god damn. 3 million clams? Yeah, has he made a statement yet? What's his name? Jake? They just kept saying Jake. Jake Runyon and Chase Kaminsky. It was 10 pounds over the previous record, but the fish didn't look record size. Oh, so they really just flew too close to the sun. They went wumbo on it for no reason. I mean, legitimately, there should be like legal action that comes from this. If he's cheated $3 million out of these tournaments, that should be a lawsuit. And the shamelessness to do it in fishing, of all things. When it comes to internet drama and controversy, I've got my finger on the pulse and I'm always ready to go wild with it on day one. I'm like Jimmy John's with that freaky fast delivery, giving you a take and then goofing around with a topic for a bit. But this week was a little different. I showed up tardy to the party today on the Bayonetta 3 situation, and there's a good reason for it. I wanted to wait to see how this one unfolded over the last few days, but it hasn't changed much, so I figured I'll just talk about it now and show you clips from my stream when I went over it. I'm sure all of you are familiar with the Bayonetta 3 drama right now. A series of clips went viral on Twitter where the voice actress behind Bayonetta, her name's Helena Taylor, made a series of tweets with a video talking about why she's not voicing Bayonetta in the new game.
Hello, my name's Helena Taylor, and I am the voice of Bayonetta, and I would like to explain to you why I didn't voice Bayonetta 3. What did they offer to pay me? The final offer to do the whole game as a buyout, a flat rate, was $4,000.
This is obviously extremely low for an incredibly large amount of work that's required for AAA game voice acting, especially at the level of Bayonetta, a huge franchise, so it's absolutely a slap in the face. This is Platinum Games and Nintendo spitting on her, and the internet was rightfully upset. Bayonetta is an iconic character. It's a very big title. It's one that I'm sure most people at least recognize, even if they don't play the games themselves, because the character's very popular. And a large part of it is thanks to Helena Taylor's work as Bayonetta. I did see a couple of bah-humbogging Scrooges out there that were saying, who cares about Helena Taylor? She doesn't make the character, she just voices it. And I feel like that's just such a brain-dead take. Like, if you really don't care about the voice acting, then play your game on mute every time there's a cutscene and see how much fun you're having there. Like, it's a very big part of characters. Of course, you can have good characters without voice acting, but having a good voice actor or actress helps elevate the character as well. But anyway, I'm already veering off the trail here, going off topic on a tangent, tackling dumb opinions from the Twitter cesspool of piss-brained babies. But the thing is, $4,000 for that kind of work at that level is nothing shy of criminal. That shit is downright insulting, and obviously, this made Helena Taylor walk away from the project since this is the most they were willing to offer her. Now, I don't know if this was Platinum Games that came up with that rate for her, or if it was Nintendo. In my heart, I truly believe it was Nintendo. There is just a holy spirit within me that is screaming, Nintendo, because this is like some real textbook Nintendo shit. Nintendo is cheap on everything they do. Look no further than Nintendo Online, for God's sakes. Paying for that service should have that company shut down. It is the worst online service of all time. They don't bother changing it. It's expensive. It's trash. And also, historically, Nintendo doesn't put a lot of money behind things. For example, let's just talk about like sanctioned tournaments from Nintendo where the grand prize isn't money. It's a controller. You know, shit like that. They have a history of being extremely cheap with their things and the things they put out, that I imagine they're also very cheap with their wages and trying to like cut corners on salaries or making offers like this. There is absolutely no reason at all why Helena Taylor, someone who helped build Bayonetta into the iconic character she is, should be getting an offer this low. They should be begging her to continue working on the character and building the character, because her voice is now synonymous with Bayonetta. Hearing any other voice is going to be jarring. Now, she's been replaced by Jennifer Hale, one of the largest voice actresses of all time. There is no shot she accepted a $4,000 offer. So I, as well as many others, believe that that $4,000 offer to Helena Taylor was their way of having her leave on her own terms by giving her a shitty offer they knew she wouldn't accept. So this tells me that they wanted a bigger name attached to the project in order to hopefully boost sales or come with a built-in audience. So they got rid of Helena Taylor, but instead of just firing her and like kicking her out saying like, hey bub, it's time to pack your things and go, they instead did this in an extremely scummy and shady way by just completely devaluing her talent to her face by making this terrible offer that they knew no one in their right mind would accept. That's the theory, at least. It's just a game theory, but I believe that's probably the case here, and it's absolutely tragic. Now, again, the reason why I didn't cover this, like, the day that it started coming out is because I wanted to see if Platinum Games or Nintendo or even Jennifer Hale would make a statement about this, where, you know, like Jennifer Hale, whom I don't think bears any blame in this situation. I'm sure she didn't know any of this. I was just wondering if she would come out and say something like, yeah, I definitely was offered more than $4,000 for this role. Something weird is here. But, of course, that's a little unrealistic to expect considering NDAs and all of that shit. But I just wanted to see if something like that would happen. So far, it hasn't. Platinum Games hasn't put out a statement. Hideki Kamiya is just blocking everyone on Twitter like he normally does. He said that there's a lot of untruth out there, which I'm guessing is in reference to this, and then made this bold statement of beware of my rules. So he's already speaking like an actual villain here. And so far, that's the only statement. Helena Taylor also called on fans to boycott Bayonetta 3 and instead spend their money on charity instead, which I think is a sweet sentiment overall. I don't know how successful a boycott's going to be, but I can understand where she's coming from in trying to get some kind of action against Platinum Games Nintendo here for this situation. But anyway, let me show you some clips from the stream where I dive into it a bit more. Yeah, I'll briefly mention the Bayonetta 3 stuff. I feel like I've already talked about it like 5 times, but I'll do it again in case my take was lost to the river of time. Absolutely terrible what Helena Taylor was offered. $4,000 to do that whole game on a character she helped build as an iconic character. Her voice, very recognizable as Bayonetta. Offering $4,000 to her. Truly shit. I don't think anyone would disagree. They very clearly did that because they wanted to force her out. I don't think it was a legitimate offer. They replaced her with Jennifer Hale, one of the biggest voice actresses of all time. You've got to be out of your goddamn mind to think Jennifer Hale accepted that role for $4,000. So 100% they wanted a bigger name to push that game. So they got rid of Helena Taylor for her, but they didn't want to just fire her. They gave her an insulting offer so she'd walk on her own. Would have been better just to fire her. I mean, it would have been a lot less scummy. Still shitty considering everyone recognizes Bayonetta's voice. It's very distinguished. It's very silly to replace it in the 3rd fucking game. But, let's say you did want to move on to a bigger name. There's a way of doing that gracefully. You know, a thank you for all the hard work you've done here, as opposed to insulting their work with a $4,000 offer to replace them. It's silly. How much did they offer the new VA? I have no idea, but it's very, very, very much higher than $4,000. You guys might not know Jennifer Hale's name, but you know her work. She has voiced in pretty much everything that you've watched and played for 20 years. Why did I go to her Wikipedia instead of her IMDb? Literally everything. She is not getting signed on for $4,000, I'll tell you right now. I don't know if it was Platinum Games or if it was Nintendo. Because from what I recall, the reason Bayonetta's even on the Switch, why Bayonetta 2 even happened, is because Nintendo agreed to take up all of the financial burden of the game. So I really do wonder if it was Nintendo who said we need a bigger name for Bayonetta, so we need to get Helena Taylor out, here's $4,000, or if it was Platinum. I would be very curious to know, definitively, who made that call. Because it definitely seems more like a Nintendo decision than a Platinum Games decision, but I could be biased because I'm such a Platinum Games fan. They've made some of my favorite games. Nintendo would have sued her as well. True. That's fine. I mean, they still probably will. I'm pretty sure her telling her salary, their offer, was against the NDA. And with Nintendo, they are going to enforce the fuck out of that, I bet. Yeah, Babylon's Fall, right? You take that name out of your mouth. That wasn't Platinum Games. That was Platinum Games' evil twin. Platinum Games have made so many bangers, but they have been in a downward spiral, I will admit. Fucking Babylon's Fall. Is Hideki still on Twitter? I believe his account is restricted. So I think this is important to clear up confusion. Hideki Kamiya, the one on Twitter who everyone immediately flocked to start bringing this to his attention, he blocks everyone. And he's blocked everyone for 10 years. One of his rules on his Twitter is if you speak English, I block you. He blocks legitimately everybody. So everyone's saying oh, he's blocking me, which means I got him where it hurts. You didn't. This guy is just a menace. He blocks everybody. The Wonderful 101 Kickstarter reward was getting unblocked by him. I didn't remember that. Jesus. Yeah, I'm surprised more people didn't know that. It became a big meme on Twitter, the check if you're blocked by Kamiya meme. Because almost everyone who speaks English is. If he sees you speaking English, he blocks you. Even if you don't reply to him, if he sees you speaking English, he blocks you. And has for years. Yeah, most people just wrote it off as him being quirky. But it is kind of cringe, especially when a legitimate situation gets brought up. Man, he is wilding out on Twitter right now, though. He has made Jesus Christ. About 20-something tweets in the last 15 hours? The man is a prolific shitposter. He's got 240,000 tweets. He spends more time on Twitter than he does at the studio. Sucks knowing the full story because from what we have heard, she's done a great job with Bayo. Jennifer Hale does a great job in everything she's in. I can't recall a single one of her 2 billion games I've played where I'm like, damn, this voice acting's shit. At least from her. Like, she's just good, which is why she's one of the biggest. Would you have taken the offer to voice Bayonetta for 4K? That's not a good question to ask me. I'm not in a position where, like, I need money for voice acting services. I do voice acting because it's fun and I know I'm bad at it, so it becomes like a self-aware kind of joke when I do it. But for an actual professional, that is beyond insulting. Especially for a title like Bayonetta. I don't like that she's throwing shade at the new actress. That was the only thing that kind of rubbed me the wrong way a little bit. How she was saying Jennifer Hale doesn't have the right to call herself Bayonetta or something to that effect. That was a little weird. Like, it's not Jennifer Hale's fault, right? I don't know why she would get mad at Jennifer Hale. She took the job. She took the job probably not knowing Helena Taylor was offered such dog shit to force her out of the game. I don't think they told her that, like, hey, Jennifer, we want you to voice Bayonetta 3 because the last voice actress we decided to offer a terrible salary to because we didn't want her here anymore. We want you instead. Like, I don't think she, like, fist bumped them after that. Like, good plan. Yeah, I'm a filthy little greasy goblin today. Clearly I haven't showered yet, and maybe I won't shower today. That's the beauty of being an adult. I get to make my own gross choices. But what I'm choosing to do before showering, at the very least, is talk about the most wild development in any drama situation I've seen so far. Across the entirety of my time on the internet, I haven't seen drama reach this climax before. I'll go ahead and speedrun the breakdown of the chess cheating drama that's been going on for over a month now. I've been following it since the Genesis. It has been a non-stop, action-packed, wild and wacky ride straight into fucking drama Valhalla. It has been the gift that just keeps on giving. The carved wood drama is unlike anything I've seen before. It all started when Hans Niemann played Magnus Carlsen at a tournament. Hans Niemann beat Magnus Carlsen, which was a surprise to the entire chess world since Magnus Carlsen is the best. And then Magnus Carlsen made a loose accusation of cheating against him. The entire chess community then started accusing him of cheating against Magnus in order to win. That's when the anal bead cheating theory was hatched. Some people speculated he may have had Stockfish, a chess engine, stuffed into a small butt plug that he inserted into his asshole before the tournament, which fed him the correct moves. This was more or less just a meme theory, but a lot of people truly believed Hans Niemann was cheating. Eventually, it came out that Hans Niemann did actually cheat in online games. Hans Niemann even confessed openly to cheating in online games, but maintained his innocence in over-the-board physical chess matches. And then Chess.com came out with evidence against Hans Niemann that he has cheated in more online games than he initially let on, including online games for tournament money, and more than he had initially said to the community. And that's where the drama had stopped until today, where Hans Niemann published this lawsuit going after all of the people that have been very staunchly against him and hard accusing him of cheating. A $100 million lawsuit has just been filed by Hans Niemann against Magnus Carlsen, Magnus Carlsen's company, Play Magnus, Danny Wrench and Chess.com, and Hikaru Nakamura. A $100 million minimum lawsuit. Now, this is a defamation case. Hans alleges that all of the cheating accusations he's been slapped in the face with have had a detrimental impact on his career and his reputation, and also are hindering his future in the profession that he's dedicated so much time for, which is obviously true. I think there is somewhat of a real concern of being blacklisted from tournaments going forward just based off the reputation as a whole. But also, Magnus Carlsen said he refuses to play Hans Niemann. The last time the two met each other after this cheating scandal, Magnus Carlsen resigned after 2 moves. He just fucking rage quit. Man just fucking disconnected the Ethernet cord and left the Call of Duty lobby. He just outright immediately forfeited because he just refuses to play Hans Niemann, believing that he's a cheater. So this means that if a tournament wants to have Hans Niemann and Magnus Carlsen competing, they really can't. They'll have to choose one or the other, because if the two meet again, Magnus will likely just flip the board once again. So this could absolutely impede Hans Niemann's career going forward, as well as the opportunities and tournaments he can play for. Now again, I really do want to drive this home. While Hans Niemann has publicly confessed to cheating and chess.com has publicly come out with more evidence to confirm his online cheating, he still 100% maintains he's never cheated in over-the-board chess, and as of this moment, there is still not concrete 100% confirmed proof that Hans Niemann has cheated in over-the-board chess or cheated against Magnus Carlsen. And we may never know if he did. You know, we can't go back in time and spread his butthole in front of the camera and check if there's anything there. We just don't have that ability to do that yet. Now, I do want to mention there have been studies run on Hans Niemann's performance, and some of them raise some concerns amongst the community. There also have been chess engine correlation reports run on Hans Niemann's games to see how many of his moves correlate to moves engines would make. But all of these, as I understand them, aren't definitive proof that he is cheating. So we just don't know for sure yet. Everyone's going to have different opinions on it, and it's just such a messy situation. And now we have this lawsuit to dissect. So, like I mentioned, he is suing some of the people that have been hard accusing him of cheating for at least $100 million. I'll go ahead and stand up in front of the class and read it out loud. Accordingly, Niemann is entitled to a money judgment against defendants in an amount to be determined at trial, but not less than $100 million, including compensatory, consequential, and punitive damages. So this is where the at least 100 million comes from. It looks like, you know, he's not going to settle for anything shy of 100 million. He won't even get out of bed for anything below 9 figures here, which seems like a lot right away. I bet you could add every single chess player's winnings for the last 100 years together, and it wouldn't even come close to 100 mil. So this number is shooting for the stars here. And just for reference, here's the top 10 all-time prize money winners. They're not even breaking 10 mil. So it really seems like that number is way out of proportion here. Hans Niemann could play chess professionally for the next 1,000 years and never even come close to earning $100 million. So those damages seem outrageous, but I'm not a lawyer, and from what I understand, this is very normal in defamation cases where they just put an absolutely astronomical number there just to try and get as much juice for the squeeze as possible and make it like as big and scary and intimidating as it can be. I don't think they're actually hoping to get that much. Wherefore, Niemann hereby requests that the court grant the following relief. On the first cause of action, money judgment in favor of Niemann against defendants, the specific amount of which to be determined at trial, but not less than 100 million plus pre-judgment interest. And then B, second cause of action, same thing, no less than 100 mil plus pre-judgment interest. Point C, third cause of action in favor of Niemann, not less than 100 million plus pre-judgment interest. Point D is a little bit different. Money judgment in favor of Niemann against defendant, specific amount of which to be determined at trial plus prejudgment interest. This doesn't have 100 million listed there for some reason, but it's the exact same wording. And then point E, fifth cause of action, no less than 100 mil. Now, this is where my little reptile brain started to malfunction and overheat here, because it looks to me like it's 4 separate asks of 100 million each, which would be a $400 million total. And that's how a lot of other people interpreted it as well. But after doing a little more research and seeing what a lot of lawyers are saying about it, it appears that these 4 things that list 100 mil as like the damage is if any of these 4 are found to be truthful, then any one of them should amount to 100 million in relief to Hans. At least that's how some of the lawyers have broke it down. Basically, the reason it's there 4 times is if any of these are found true, then it should be 100 mil, and it's not going to stack. So if multiple are found true, it'll still just be 100 mil. It's not like additional or anything like that. So I'm going to run with that because that's what makes the most sense to me. Once it was explained, I don't know if I'm doing it justice and explaining it to you guys, but it looks like the total is 100 million, not 400. Either way, though, that is still a super duper high amount to be suing for here. Now, after reading and watching some lawyers break this down, most of them were giving their perspective on whether or not this is even like a winnable case in any capacity for Hans Niemann, because there are some sections of this lawsuit that are just downright weak that they point out, but also some of it just reads like an angry blog post from like a salty soccer mom in a couple places. Like there's a whole section where they just put in parentheses king of chess when referring to Magnus Carlsen and talking about him being a coward or a sore loser who couldn't accept losing to Hans Niemann. So things like that stood out to me as like, wow, that doesn't sound professional. I wouldn't expect to see that kind of language in a lawsuit. But The lawyers were more focused on whether or not this was a legitimately winnable case, and most of them agree that the lawsuit does actually have some bite to it, but not all of it. So Hikaru Nakamura being listed here seems like that's completely a lost cause. They were kind of scratching their head on that one, because in order for Hans Niemann to win against Hikaru, he'd have to prove that Hikaru knew Hans wasn't cheating, knew the evidence wasn't legitimate evidence, and then still accused him of cheating anyway. Which of course sounds impossible to prove. But his claims against the Magnus Carlsen and Play Magnus, as well as Chess.com, most of them were saying there is a chance for Hans Niemann to squeak out a victory here, because there isn't actual evidence to prove he's cheated at the moment. So it would all come down to discovery. Most of them were saying discovery will be like the actual deciding factor in how this case goes, because they're going to need to prove that they have real evidence that Hans is cheating in over-the-board chess, at least according to some of the lawyers I've watched. Otherwise, Hans Niemann does have a case against them for the defamatory statements of cheating and the accusations and implying that he's cheating, because it's such a reputationally damaging thing that impedes his ability to compete further. Overall, though, what a crazy development in this whole chess cheating scandal drama. We started from anal beads and now look at us. Yeah, this shit is just going insano style. So yeah, just wanted to drop that hot plate of spaghetti and meatballs on the table for you here, because wow, that's really about it. So yeah, I don't understand what's going on in the world right now, because there is a cheating scandal in every single sport, every game, every hobby in the entire world, all happening at once. This is like something out of the Bible to signal a doomsday or an apocalypse. Today we're going to be talking about a Call of Duty cheating scandal, but not so much the cheating itself, more so how one YouTuber took a huge L trying to suckle a drop of clout out of the situation by posting an embarrassing video about it. I'm not a huge fan of Call of Duty. I haven't been a fan of Call of Duty in a while, but I am a big fan of clowns. And yesterday these two worlds collided when Doug Censor Martin made his exposed video on Nadia, a person who's been accused of cheating for a while now. Doug kind of hyped himself up as the authority to bring down judgment once and for all and bring the truth to light. He dusted off the monocle and got to the bottom of this case like Scooby-Doo and the gang to solve the mystery here. But unfortunately, he posted turbo cringe on main, and as a result, the entire community's been dunking on him and he's caught more shit than a latrine. It would have been less reputationally damaging if he posted his own sex tape on his channel. Would have been a lot less embarrassing. Now let me just go ahead and break down the situation here to bring you all up to speed, since I'm sure a lot of you don't know exactly what I'm talking about. Right now, there is a massive Call of Duty streamer named Nadia. She mainly plays Warzone, Rebirth Island, and she's massive. And she's had a ton of cheating allegations against her for quite a long time now. A lot of people analyzing and going over very suspicious and odd moments from her streams, as well as some peculiar things that have popped up in terms of like aim locking and tracking and shit like that. As well as recently she went to a LAN tournament and didn't perform super well. She went like 4-15 in one of the bigger matches. So people were confused on why she plays so well at home, where she's dropping like 50 bombs and absolutely spanking people, versus on LAN where she goes and just doesn't do super well. So there's just been a lot of videos breaking down and analyzing suspicious moments from her streams and explaining that there's a chance she's cheating, though nothing's 100% proven as of right now. But it is a very peculiar situation, one that I'm not super familiar with, so one that I'm not going to opine on heavily, but that's the gist of it in a nutshell. And Doug Censor Martin stepped into the spotlight to try and be the authority on whether or not she truly is cheating. And this backfired on him terribly. So yeah, I'm not really here to talk too much about the possible cheating itself. I'm just here to laugh at this awful video Doug made. Even if it's confirmed Nadia's cheating, like right now, if she goes live and just admits, I'm a cheater, here's the proof, I would still say Doug Censor Martin took the bigger L in this situation. Also, he really hyped the shit out of this for days, like on Twitter and everything, making very bold posts about the impact this video is going to have and how he was taking it so seriously and researching it thoroughly, and man, that aged terribly. Right away you can tell the vibe he's going for is douchey, over-the-top goofiness here, but it conflicts with the tone he set prior to its release, talking about how seriously he was taking it and the investigation that he was conducting, only to release this little circus video. So immediately people were pretty turned off just from the intro alone.
Detective, what are you smoking?
That Nadia pack.
Wait, isn't that your $1 million Armani suit?
Just buy another one.
Behold, the comedic stylings of Doug. I bet you have to pick yourself up off the floor after laughing so hard and falling out of your chair, but that's a side-splitting humor you can expect to find from Doug here. No doubt this man's going places. He's probably going to start writing jokes for Amy Schumer next. I mean, this is just good stuff. This bit drags on for a very long time here, and I have no doubt that it's this long just for the sake of padding the video length, because the video is 8 minutes and 3 seconds, so I feel like he just front-loaded it with this trash in the intro to make sure that it breaches 8 minutes for the mid-roll ads, because I have no other explanation for why it goes on for as long as it does. I'll spare you the next like 45 seconds of this shit and just get to the part where he starts talking, but I do want to at least mention that last night I was talking about this on stream and Doug was watching and he took it like a champ, so good on you, Doug, for being able to roll with criticism, but this is a video that should have just stayed as a bad idea in your head. You should have never posted it.
98! Ugh! Ugh!
Yo, what's going on, guys? Doug Sensor Martin here. Hope you guys are having a great day.
This is really a masterclass in how to make people dislike you within the first minute of a video. He just speedran unlikability. I really love the thought process behind this video here. I'll just crank out some pull-ups before getting into it. That'll make them think I'm cool. Flex on them a little bit. Hey, what's up, nerds? It's me, Doug. What, did I forget to give you a wedgie today? Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm the likable douchebag who plays video games. You know, what a Sigma male.
And today I bring you guys a brand new video giving you all the truth about Nadia. So if you guys don't know who Nadia is, she's a 22-year-old Warzone player. She streams every single day on Twitch TV. So I've been putting in about 8 to 10 hour days, 7 days a week to Vanguard rank to be the #1 ranked player on the planet. And with that comes the sacrifice. And sometimes, like I said, you lose your mind. Sometimes you play against cheaters and they really are inevitable. And there's not really too much you can do about it.
The first minute and a half is just actual nothing burgers. This man is a restaurant that's serving up buns and nothing inside of it. It is absolute worthlessness. It's him patting his ego for a bit, I guess giving like a background on himself. He's like, oh, you know, at first I looked at Nadia, I wasn't suspicious, but then everyone else was, so now I'm suspicious. And here's my resume. And then he talks about how he spends so much time grinding Call of Duty Vanguard ranked, which sounds like a fate worse than death. And then he finally starts getting into something that's even remotely related to the topic.
This girl really got people hooked. So I'm clicking the video and I'm watching it and they're slowing everything down in slow motion. They're showing our aim drags from one person to another. They're showing a bunch of these different clips of these characters moving like magnets and their aim snaps on them. And just being a guy who's been around competitive Call of Duty for as long as I have and seeing as many things that I've seen, this is no news to me. I've seen stuff like this so many times before. And my brain just started to think and I'm like, let me look a little bit more into Nadia.
We are 4 minutes and 33 seconds into this video and he has still done absolutely fucking nothing. Silence would have been more productive than everything he's said so far. If he had spread his own asshole like Goatsy for 4 minutes and 33 seconds, I feel like I would have got more information out of that than what I've watched so far. We are over halfway done with the video and he has done and said nothing.
I thought acting was my passion, but now it's really gaming. I do love acting, but gaming is where I'm at right now.
So when she said this live, I was actually in my hot tub watching because I'm friends with Jake and I like him. Let me watch this interview. Let me see who this girl is and what she's all about. And when I saw that and I heard that, everything really started to click to me.
This is his first of only 3 loose points. I can't even call them actual points because he doesn't even make any arguments against Nadia or to prove she's cheating, because this, what he's showing, everything he shows here isn't evidence. He just pulls up random TikTok clips of her talking about acting. He doesn't even go into like the actual cheating allegations. He just talks about her being bad at acting for some reason. Like that's what he like focuses on. That's the smoking gun. Ah, so she's bad at acting. probably a cheater as well then. I was super let down by this video, as I'm sure everyone else was, because he had put so much hype behind it, talking about how thorough and how serious this video was going to be. And I'm a little goblin that's drawn to internet drama like a moth to a flame, so I was finally going to get caught up to speed on some fresh drama that I wasn't super familiar with, and I thought Doug would be the one to deliver all of the information as well as pretty impressive evidence on a video. But he didn't do any of that. Instead, he released this stinker and then has claimed it was all just an elaborate troll, which to me just sounds like desperation and cope. Like, no, this video actually was a troll from the start. But even if that is the case, it's still poorly done. It's still bad. The video itself isn't entertaining, even as like a satirical piece or a joke. It's just not good no matter how you spin it.
It's simple. I just hack into the Call of Duty servers, so there's a playlist that gets me only low KD lobbies. Rerith QA bot, turn me up, chat.
Turn me up, turn me up. Oh my God, turn me up. You clearly tell this is some bad acting, and not for nothing. This whole turn me up, turn me up. Can we please, I don't care who started this. I don't care. Can we leave this in 2022? Just somebody come up with something new and creative, anything. But the whole turn me up, yeah.
This buffoon's over here mauling over 3 words. It's not that deep. It's not a big deal. And also, what does it have to do with anything about the cheating accusations you're supposed to be tackling? So Nadia really leans into all the cheating stuff and treats it like a meme and a joke. So she'll be very sarcastic with it, talk about how she's like cheating sarcastically and shit like that. And Doug is critiquing her acting about it and being upset that she says, turn me up. I just don't even get what he's trying to say here. Maybe it's too galaxy brain for me to comprehend. I just can't wrap my little reptile brain around it. It just seems like he finds her annoying, so he's just calling her annoying like a child would.
You could go down a rabbit hole just searching this girl's name, but there's one thing that really stands out.
I played Black Ops 1. Black Ops 2.
Hey, you don't need to hug me. I get
So
it.
Dolphin.
Chat, what is dolphin diving? Like, how do I do it?
Okay, so Nadia, check this out. I know you work out and you're in good shape. This is how you do the dolphin dive.
Ow, fuck.
All jokes aside, this video is about showing the truth of Nadia.
All jokes aside, what jokes? All 0 of them that you've told so far? This is so embarrassing, Doug. The fact that you not only made this, but you edited it and posted it shamelessly and hyped it up. You could have at least made a point out of this, like, Nadia claims she's very familiar with Call of Duty and Black Ops in particular. How would she be unfamiliar with the term dolphin diving? That was a very standard term used in Black Ops by everyone. It'd be very surprising if she'd never heard of dolphin diving despite playing so much Black Ops. But you didn't even begin to, like, broach that subject. Instead, you took this and made an absolute nothing sandwich out of it again. Like, I just don't understand the motivation behind this video, like what the purpose was, other than to just siphon a few views out of the topic. Because everyone is talking about this Nadia cheating allegation situation, and perhaps Doug felt a little left outside, alone, cold in the rain, and he said, hey guys, I want to come inside where it's warm and get in on this view party as well. So then he threw this piece of shit together.
All jokes aside, this video is about showing the truth of Nadia, and somehow the internet over the last few days has really turned this and conforted this into me exposing Nadia for her cheats and having clear-cut evidence of her cheats. So I do want to clarify this really quickly. My buddy made a program to catch Vanguard cheaters on the rank play system. I've made that very clear. I've also told Nadia publicly multiple times that I don't care about her. My video is going to be unbiased. I don't need her. I'm not looking for clout. I'm not looking for money. Don't need any of that stuff.
This man just spit out more garbage than a landfill. I don't even know where to start. We'll just go from the beginning. He starts blaming the internet as if people got it all twisted and got it fucked up. Oh, you've misconstrued it. You know, the internet's bastardized and perverted my point. They think that I had evidence against Nadia and this and that. I don't even know where they got the idea from. Doug, they got it from you. For days you were talking about how you have all of this proof of cheaters and cheaters are a bad thing and insinuating that you've got stuff on Nadia. And like you put that idea in everyone's head. They got that information and that idea directly from your mouth. So I don't know why you're trying to spin it like, oh, you guys, you went wild with these crazy ideas, none of which I influenced at all. I didn't do any of that. You guys are just weird to think that I had this evidence or any real proof against Nadia. Like, it blows my mind that you've tried to now blame people for getting it wrong because you have absolutely nothing. He then shouts out his friend's anti-cheating program, which he mentioned a few times in the beginning of the video, but I felt it was completely irrelevant to the topic, which was proving Nadia was cheating or talking about it or submitting evidence, none of which he does and none of which his friend's program helped with or did anything with. So it has no purpose in the video other than like a hashtag ad, I suppose. I don't really know. And then he goes into the biggest lie I've heard in a minute. This is a straight cap from top to bottom. How he's not doing this for clout or attention or anything. That's all this was. Oh, here, I'll make this weird fucking video. Like, you did all of this for clout, 100%. There's no other motivation here. I guess you can fall back on the defense mechanism of calling it a troll, but even still, it's done poorly. So if the goal was to troll people, you did it at the expense of your own reputation and the goodwill from the community that you still had left over. So the joke at the end of the day is on you. So the real only purpose to the video was just views, which you got because this is more viewed than your recent uploads, but I just don't see why you do it when it comes at such a high price to your image. There's really nothing in this video. This video is like 99% you just working out or flexing and talking about nothing. You don't even really mention Nadia's cheating allegations or provide any evidence. You provide legitimately no evidence. You don't make any points. You just don't talk about anything in the video. There's just nothing of substance here. So there's only one conclusion to draw. That you did this whole song and dance, you made this video for clout.
It all just became clear.
I can't play the music from here because of DMCA, but he concludes the video by parking his jet ski, walking up on the dock, and pretending to propose to Nadia. It is so fucking embarrassing. Everyone with eyes was sad to see this. It is painful to look at. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about this a bit because Doug just really made a complete fool out of himself. That's about it. See ya.